I will say this: as much as Zuckerberg is
The
like,
Zuck.
maybe a morally questionable, has done some morally questionable things surrounding data privacy, data collection,
Sign the
um,
waiver.
really just a lot of
Sign
things to
the
do with personal
contract.
data. As much as he's done some morally questionable things around that, I will say he is a genius, and I do believe that if
Yeah.
he sees something here, I think there probably is something here. But then again, these metaverses have already kind of been around for a while. I mean, you look like VR chat
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like Habbo Hotel games like.
Welcome back, guys, to the Way podcast with your host, Sajid Marwar. This week, we have a returning guest, Beck. My boy from high school is back to talk about some, I guess, topical stuff.
Mhm. Not
Uh,
Florida
s-
Man this time.
yeah, yeah. We were
That'll be later.
that episode is definitely not going up before this, but we recorded an episode that was kind of just it was just Florida man stories and just random stuff. So yeah. But today's episode we have a little bit more of an actual topic. So
Yeah.
um, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about just general updates in the tech world, NFTs, the metaverse, our opinions on it, and all that kind of stuff. So
The position of non-experts and
yes,
not
yes, of
crypto
course, of
bros.
course. Yeah, but buy Bitcoin though. It only went down. But how didn't it go down today? Like, or a couple of days ago? Like, by it's down 20,000 or something.
Let me hook up my monitor and I'll pull it up on a second screen and I'll tell you in a
Pull
second.
that
For
up,
now,
GM.
you
Pull
keep
that up.
introing it. Just keep introing it for now and then we'll like the setup.
Yeah. So yeah, I heard somebody talking about it on another podcast, Tim Dillon's podcast. If you don't know that one, it's very funny. He's like the most pessimistic New York guy. He used to be a mortgage a mortgage broker, and like scam people. He was addicted to crack. I mean, he was just crazy back then. And it was like he was one of his firms. He was like part of those people that were initiating the housing crisis. Like he was doing those exact actions. Basically getting people houses and giving them mortgages that they could never pay back. And he was one of those guys, and he's really funny. And this guy was talking about he always talks about NFTs and stuff like that, and he's because he's super pessimistic, and he's totally like New York, and his voice is like
Yeah.
this the entire time. Yeah. So
So
let's see what's up with Bitcoin.
okay, so this is the 1 month month to date. Yeah, it's month to date. Yeah, month to date is actually a month ago Bitcoin was trading at $47,299.
All right.
It hit rock bottom. Well, not rock bottom, but hit at the lowest point it was at in the last month was $35,070.10.
All right.
So a small dip.
Small damage, 25%.
Yeah, we're back up though to $38,801.90.
Hey, there you go. So Bitcoin owners, congrats, eh? We're back up.
Its peak in November 8th, 2021 was $67,000, 60. So we're a little down compared to that.
I mean, its high was nearly double, but we can't talk about past results. You know what I'm saying? To the moon. To
Only
the
six
moon.
months ago, not that long. Let's look it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Pyramids, actually.
You into crypto at all?
Not really, but you know,
Here and there?
I dabble.
Ah, dabble.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm one of those. I'm like a Warren Buffett investor. Risk averse. Set it and forget it. Invest in the S&P 500 and call it a day. I'm one of those kind of guys. But uh, yeah, I don't know. Right now, my portfolio is kind of it's pretty much just indexes like S&P 500. I have TSX and then top 60 of TSX and S&P 500. Different companies that manage the index, the funds and stuff. But
you're going to the safe bets. I see. None of
I
that
mean, it's
Dogecoin.
easy invest. Yeah, I mean, it's better than having my my savings from when I was a kid just sitting in a bank account making like 19 cents a month. I might as well put like a certain portion to something that's not likely to you know decrease by a crazy amount. Like my logic about it is, I mean, it's kind of very general. Finance, the whole world is very complex, but it's also, if I'm investing in the market, and most of these are very kind of diversified. They focus on more. Some are more tech focused, some are more construction, some more bank. But they're all similar to the S&P 500 or whatever related index. And if the whole market is going down, like, then I think if I invested in anything else, it's probably going to be going down too. So that's kind of my logic. So if my ETFs go down by quite a bit, it's like everyone's sucking right now. So, I think that's almost the most certain thing we can predict, really, on the market.
Unless you're Activision Blizzard, because that's popping off right
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me
Wait,
pull up the actual
Blizzard got
price.
purchased by who again?
Microsoft.
Oh,
It's technically
Microsoft.
Xbox, but Microsoft. I think it's all going into Xbox, right?
I
Yeah, they
see.
were at
Well, there goes Overwatch 2. Overwatch
yeah.
2 Xbox exclusive now.
So over the last month, like everyone else, I'll pull the 6 month chart here. Like everyone else, they had a huge dip, and then they were down to like at lowest point in mid December and early December was $57.30 or 29 cents, and it's a it's a sharp change. They have gone on the 14th of January. They jumped from $65 to $82.
That's pretty good, dude. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's a good investment by Microsoft for sure. I mean, it's. Do you think they're gonna make it an exclusive to one of their consoles? I don't think they'll do that because
They
it's too
won't.
much, too big of a community on these
They're
Blizzard games and stuff like Overwatch and stuff.
we're too far past it at this point. I think at this point with the push for crossplay, because for years it was a
Oh
question of
yeah, that's
whether.
true.
For years the thing was there was a question with crossplay of whether or not can we do it. But after I think it was Fortnite and Epic Games accidentally turned it on, people realized this is super
Whoops.
easy to do. And then once that kind of opened the can of worms, I think people realized that crossplay is something that's actually within our realm of possibility. And I guarantee you, there's some. Again, I'm taking a look at the numbers, but based on the trends and where the gaming industry is going, there's a lot more free to play games coming out with the freemium model of you pay for the free game, and then either there's a more full version of the game available, like Call of Duty has a multiplayer available, which you can argue is just a system to grind skins and grind your weapons up for
Yeah.
Warzone. But the thing is the game's built around free game, and then you have either another game that comes with it, and then some what has been referred to as fun bucks, where you can just go spend real money to get money for the in-game store, which
Yeah.
I think that's the direction they're going. And I think for a lot of the companies, I'm assuming based on where the trends are going and the fact that exclusivity, unless it's like a first party game, um, it'll either with Microsoft, it'll stick to their PC platform and Xbox. But I think for a lot of single player stuff, it'll stay exclusive because it's a good way to draw people in your console. But I think for all the multiplayer
True.
stuff, I don't think we're ever going back to exclusives ever.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I
No.
mean, pushing that exclusivity in terms of multiplayer games is like, I mean, everyone has their preferences, but they all want to play the same game. Everyone wants to play Overwatch, but you might play on console or PC. So I think it's not plausible, or it's not a smart idea, business wise, to encourage that. But this is a really interesting strategy. That whole, it's so. I wonder where that came from. The whole free to play. It must have arrived from
Mobile.
mobile games. Yeah,
It
for
was
sure.
all mobile games that started that. The mobile game market is what started it, and then over time, the console manufacturers were trying to find ways that they could monetize the game, or sorry, the console manufacturers. developers on consoles and PC are trying to find ways to monetize their games outside of things like expansion packs where you have to spend like $20 and it's
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a significant amount of dev time to make it all come together. But excuse me, mobile games showed that if you can just get a game out the door, people will buy skins and stuff like that in it, which is
yeah,
how they're gonna start making their money. Because at this point, like one of the biggest hurdles to getting into video games isn't the actual like not actually, getting people in isn't hard. It's the price tag that's the big issue. So
yeah,
opening up accessibility and bringing more people into the hobby and getting more people in like will generate more revenue for these companies, just getting more and more consumers. So I mean, you see with Xbox or Microsoft what they're doing with the Game Pass, where it's $10 a month, you get access to hundreds of games. It's Netflix for video games, basically.
yeah, yeah,
And that's a huge moneymaker for them, and it's going to be a huge driver of revenue because what they're going to start doing is with all these studios that they own and studios they have partnerships with, they're going to start putting these games out the day they come out on that Game Pass to drive subscriptions and then keep that going. And then from there, in those games, there are more microtransactions people spend money on.
yeah,
So
yeah.
getting more and more people into those games that normally cost money.
Which is, it's a really smart pricing strategy because I find just from, I guess, my own intuition and, playing some games myself, one of the hardest thing about a lot of video games, I mean, people get bored of them, like maintaining your customer. I mean, it's a lot of like single player games, story based games, like they usually don't have that sort of in game. I mean, they do sometimes, of course, but they don't have that in game or in app purchase or whatever it is. They more commonly have the upfront cost, and then they have additional expansion packages, right? And I mean, it's pretty interesting how different a multiplayer game versus a story game is in terms of this price. It's complete, like you cannot offer a multiplayer game and be able to sell it. I mean, unless it's like COD or like one of these
But Call of
franchises.
Duty, even with that, it's still got when you buy the full $60 version of the game, you get a campaign, a multiplayer, and usually either like a third mode, either with Spec Ops or Zombies. You get
Yeah.
a lot of content packed into there. So yeah.
Yeah, and then having the free entry it kind of encourages people to pay or to play more. I feel like they must have done some study where people are more likely to spend more money on the games that are free to play overall, like over the lifespan in the game versus than upfront costs, for example. Like especially for mobile games, can you remember? Could you ever remember? Like, I never paid for any. I don't think I paid for any mobile game. Like a 90, even paying for a 99-cent game. Like
Yeah.
instead of making a buck off those 99-cent games, you can get it for free. Reduce the upfront cost for the consumer, and then you know it feels nice because you don't really have to. You can just grind it, and not pay for anything if you don't want to. But the incentive that the pay to play games are like, or not pay to play, but more like pay to win. But um, I mean, it just gives it gives it much easier access because like people will probably end up spending more than whatever the upside. Like let's just say an app costs $5. People are gonna definitely end up spending more than $5. The average consumer within the game with in-app purchases, skins, what have you. But that upfront cost of $5 is what deters them. But I
Yeah.
think more people are more than willing to spend over $5 on in a game, over its lifespan,
Mhm.
and they're probably more likely to spend more money. And obviously, there's the idea of the opportunity cost of, you're buying the money in the future is worth less than money right now, of course. But the thing is, I think the benefit to loss ratio is it's much higher. There's a much higher benefit to in keeping people interested in your product. If you look at anything, people are moving out farther. I feel like companies in general, especially with very interactive products that are kind of half product, half services, um, they're they're moving away from that very short term focus goal and more onto the long term. customer retention thing, because a lot of these companies, they can get people in the door, but retaining customers is what's really important. That's how you create, lifelong brand recognition and partnership and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, speaking of your point of retaining customers and getting them in the door, the big thing with these free-to-play games comparatively, speaking of the thing of the $5 buying in, the thing is when you have a free product, it's almost like I'll download it for free, give it a try, and then at that point, if I like it, I'll pay money. And the thing is it's deceptive because it's like it's $5 here, it's $5 there, but it
yep.
really adds up quickly. Where that's $60 US, I guess $70 US now, and then in Canadian like $90 to $100 price tag for a brand new game. That's something people like stop and think about, but
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
lot
lot of
easier for people to
money.
spend $5 on a game they already like and they've already devoted some time to,
Yep, yeah.
which is okay.
Which is a smart, I mean, it's like a trial testing business model too. Like,
Yeah, it's the whole thing of what video game demos were back in the day, except now they
yeah,
just give
dude.
you the game.
Yeah, like a free to play demo. Just, I mean, just like, it's like what I do with our podcast. I post clips, you get a little snippet of it. It's not like you have to pay for it, but, you have to devote your time, which is also valuable. So, I give that
Not a lot
to,
of it.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. But, yeah. Don't worry, guys. Eventually, we're gonna monetize this. Every episode will be on Patreon.
A hentai
Um,
episode. What do you
the
mean?
hentai episodes.
We're never making that, are we?
Right?
I'm
There's
not there for that one.
no. We're gonna
Hey,
make that
Christian.
eventually. We have to get to a certain level. Okay. We have to get
No,
to. All right, guys.
no.
If we
That's 100 episodes at least. 100 episodes at least.
if we can get like once we're eligible for. I mean, I'm eligible for memberships on Spotify right now, but I don't think it's obviously fair to make people pay for episodes at this point, because what else am I gonna offer? But eventually we will do that episode, and it's definitely gonna be like an exclusive pay $5 to watch pay-per-view, like it's not gonna be on this on the main one. We can't get that family friendly tag canceled off.
We're gonna have to get the screen share working for that episode.
Oh man.
For reference,
Uh,
that is, we had some technical difficulties in the last episode when we were filming, and we figured out it was due to the Zoom screen share. So that's the
yeah.
reference.
Just yeah. There's like we had to stop recording 3 times. Just it was a whole mess. Anyway, um,
Back to
yes,
free to play.
yeah. So we're talking about video games. Um, Video games, they kind of offer you this escape from the real world. But now we have this new thing, the metaverse. Oh, so intriguing, so interesting of a topic. And it's I mean, it's kind of crazy, and it's cool at the same time, but it's a little scary, I think, as well. But I mean, what's your opinion on the metaverse itself? Do you think that
Okay.
it's a good idea that Facebook controls everything?
I will say this: as much as Zuckerberg is
The
like,
Zuck.
maybe a morally questionable, has done some morally questionable things surrounding data privacy, data collection,
You signed the
um,
waiver.
really just a
You
lot of
signed
things to
the
do with personal
contract.
data. As much as he's done some morally questionable things around that, I will say he is a genius, and I do believe that if
Yep.
he sees something here, I think there probably is something here. But then again, these metaverses have already kind of been around for a while. I mean, you look like VR chat
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like Habbo Hotel games like that. This kind of concept's already been around. I just think now we're seeing a mainstream big company that
yeah,
everyone knows by name. It's a household name. Really take charge in the industry and push it forward.
yeah. And I mean, if you think about the concept of the metaverse is not foreign to, I mean, our generation. Like think about Minecraft. Minecraft is basically you have a server, you do whatever you want up there. People pay to host servers, just like they do in the metaverse. People create things. They have, I mean, Minecraft, the game. Speaking of games that have just revolutionized, and just the industry in general. I mean, Minecraft has connected so many people around the world. It's kind of crazy how this, such a simple game at its core level, you know, you you make stuff. You got random materials. Everything are blocks, you know. You can explore different biomes and all that kind of stuff. And it's the freedom within the game has allowed, so many people around the world. Like you go to I went to last time I've been on a server, I remember when you used to go on a Hunger Games server, for example, and it'd just be like super basic. There'd just be signs and you'd be teleported to whatever arena. But now it's like you go into Hunger Games server and it's like towers, 15, like I don't know how many like thousands of people on one server, hundreds of games going on. It's just insane how it's been. And I mean the metaverse is kind of like that in that sense where it's it's an open world. You can do whatever you want within, as long as you're willing to pay for it, which is the difference. But I mean, now the question is, like personally I don't think there's anything wrong with it existing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It basically already exists anyway. But would I spend time in the metaverse? I mean, it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's all going to be, the thing is there needs to be a reason for people to go there, right? And
Yeah.
I think the reason of just social interaction with people won't be enough. I know they've talked about selling property in the meta, like, you know what I mean? Like doing all these things that you can buy in the metaverse. But I think there needs to be like, outside of just going and flexing your wealth, I think there actually needs to be like a real economic opportunity for people, because otherwise it'll just be a social activity, which I don't think, based on what I've heard so far, is what they're aiming for. But I will say, if it will be like VR chat, I think it's gonna be hilarious. Like it's gonna be a ridiculously funny. I can just see it now.
For those of you who don't know what VR chat is, basically it's like it's similar to that, the idea of the metaverse. It basically is a version of a metaverse in a sense, where there's a server, there's different servers from different parts of the world, and they have different focuses. You can have an avatar,
It's a chat room.
Yeah,
it's a chat room like where VR headset and walk around and talk to people.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you don't even need a VR headset, but you
can play desktop.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very funny because people have like some of the very funny avatars, and there's basically no rules in.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's kind of the Wild West of online, and there's some really fun. Like, I mean, there's tons of YouTubers make YouTube videos about it. I mean, the boys have been on, and it's pretty funny. Like, it's.
I gotta get on that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gone on myself, but I've been there when other people have gone on, and
that's a CTF video right there. That is a CTF.
Oh yeah,
video.
CTF, project in the making, guys. Project in the making. We'll update you guys if there's if we move forward.
That's not totally congruent with the way podcast.
No, it's definitely not. It's a side project. We are not the way podcast is not endorsed views of CTF. But
even half the cast or half the team is working on it.
Yeah, I know, that's true. But yeah, the whole metaverse thing, I mean, for me personally, I don't think I would. I mean, people are saying, eventually we're just going to be in the metaverse. It's just going to become Ready Player One or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, people like to glamorize those kind of things. I mean, people said we're going to have flying cars by this time as well. But I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a long time before graphics get to the point where it's indistinguishable from, I mean, real life. Because, okay, maybe not that long. In terms of graphics, I mean, looking at cutscenes from COD, they're pretty good, dude. I mean,
they're good, but it's
obvious. You can definitely tell.
Yeah, you can tell because there's something about it. It's the way that kind of everything happens. Because if you think about it in a cutscene, it's like it's almost too perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone moves in a certain way, where in real life it just doesn't have that feeling. It doesn't capture it entirely.
Yeah.
With the metaverse, though, I do want to pivot to this. I know we briefly talked about this in the episode we recorded earlier about Robert Nozick's experience machine, and I want to talk about that
Yeah,
because
that's what I was thinking about as
I
well.
think it perfectly like slides into this conversation about with the metaverse.
Yeah. So to explain this, essentially the dilemma presented is there's a machine called the experience machine, and it can replicate life perfectly, and you can design it to produce any sort of events you want. And when you're inside it, you don't know that what you're experiencing is not actually happening in the real world. Um, and the question is, would you go in? I mean, it's a basic question to a very. It doesn't really have the easiest answer, you know. And I mean, the metaverse is obviously it's kind of like a dumbed down example of the experience machine, but I mean,
Because we're not there yet.
we're not there
But
yet. I mean, eventually we don't even we can eat in the metaverse, man. We'll just feed us a pill and we'll have the flavor of steak. You know? Can you
listen to
believe
your
back in the 30s? Can you believe back in the 30s they thought everyone was gonna be eating in pills and this is a roast chicken pill. Take a bite. You know? We're not too
Call
bad
of
at
Duty thought we'd be in a war in 2019. I played Modern Warfare 3.
exactly. Yeah. When did they drop that bomb in Modern Warfare 2? 2020?
I want to say probably 2019, 20. No, it's 2016. I don't remember. It's been a
I don't
while.
remember. I haven't
I'd have
played
to go
Modern
back
Warfare
and
2.
play.
Yeah, but I mean, what would you say yourself, Beck? Would you enter the experience machine?
I think no, because before going in, I wouldn't be able to grapple with knowing that it's not real. And I
Yeah.
think there's a part of me that like, as much as even looking past the actual idea of not even like the pride and accomplishment part of it, but just the knowledge in itself that it isn't real, I think detracts from the overall value enough
Hmm.
for me to consider this isn't right. Like this isn't what
Yeah.
we were meant to do in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, and then I mean, a lot of people bring up the argument, but you wouldn't know. Once you enter, you wouldn't know that you're in the machine at all. But the thing is, why would you even ask the question then, you know? Because if you're going to enter the machine and construct the perfect reality, you know, the thing is the experience machine has an has infinite possibilities. You can construct it to be exactly like how your life you want your life to be, while also having the failures and the things that make it worth it, essentially. Um,
But it can create that though. That's the thing. When
yeah,
you're in there.
which is crazy to
I
think about,
know.
but at the same time, why would you go into the machine where you can just live life?
Yeah. And
I mean,
there's almost an inherent value in knowing that it's real. Like I think in that world, the existence of the machine, knowing that you could go do that, but you've chosen to do this, there is intrinsic value in that because you
yeah,
know not that what you're doing is right, but that what you're doing
is actually
has
happening.
value. Yeah, and it has value. You're impacting the world around you where the other one feels like an isolatory experience. And that's I
Yeah,
think us feel like we've made a difference is kind of key to who we are in a way. I mean, that's what I think for a lot of us, that's what a lot of people would say their goals are in life is to make a difference in some way in their life. And I think it strips you of that. And I think that's a really key part of being human.
yeah, and it's not even making a difference like on a grand scale. It's just doing
Yeah.
something, right? Doing something to change how you think it's gonna be. And this, I mean, this debate. I'm sure before like when the Matrix came out, people were talking about this a lot. And this was way before we had any actually like any sense of what it could actually be. Like the metaverse is essentially what this is in a simpler form, and eventually people are predicting that it can be the exact same as our reality. We can program it to do everything, but the difference with the metaverse is that you can choose your own reality. You can choose your own reality if you got the money. You gotta have that cash. Sorry, not cash, Bitcoin. You gotta have that crypto. um
I
which is essentially, I mean, it just becomes same society as we live in today, ruled by money.
Yeah,
But what is money in a world that is has no limits? Why even have money? If we're gonna just transition to fully online, fully in a
yeah.
separate reality, what is money? What is the
But
point?
there's almost a recognition by the existence of money that has value in the real world. You are almost intrinsically accepting that the real world has value and that there is
Exactly.
something that, like, it's a self-defeating design in the sense that, yeah, you can go there to escape the real world, but the problem is the real world's always going to be there. It'll be there waiting, and one day it's going to come calling. You're going to have to come back to it.
Yeah.
I think personally for me, the VR chats of the world and the social aspect of it, I think will be the best part that will come out of it, and I think it'll be the most successful
Hmm.
part that comes out of it. And unless there's, like, obviously there'll be new economic opportunity for people to work on things in the metaverse, and I don't know what other things are going to come with it, but I think that'll be the primary driver of it. I can't see. I think it'll just be a new portal for applications. Honestly, it's not going to be a
Yeah.
revolutionary new reality because I think it contrasts with, like, how we're designed in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean it has. I mean, eventually they're saying you could have things like one thing I found really was cool. You could have somebody performing and on the stage in a stadium where there's no one, but you're in the metaverse and you can be you can have a private show from your favorite artist. You pay a certain amount or whatever. I mean, that's things that could eventually happen, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm sure I'm sure they'll happen eventually. You know, but I mean, Snoop Dogg's already got a plot of land in the metaverse, which is hilarious. First of all,
the weed
but
farm.
yeah, yeah, virtual weed farm. Snoop's been in a different reality every second of the day. You know what I'm saying? He's been on a different mood. Oh yeah,
Uh,
but
yeah, no, I like I think the idea of the metaverse, the concert aspect. Again, doubling back to Fortnite, they've kind of already done that. Like, they kind of already claimed
Fortnite.
that territory of the online concert and having everyone kind of show up. They've kind of already done that. I mean,
That's true.
games have already done a lot of this stuff that people are saying the metaverse is going to do. I just don't think people have paid enough attention to realize that, like, yeah, there's going
Yeah,
to be some interesting stuff like the private shows, but at that point, again, my question is, it's not real though. I mean, what's the difference between going and listening to the music yourself? I mean, yeah, there's the new visual that's in front of you, but it's not a real visual. Like, it's not there, if you know what I mean.
yeah. I mean, okay, so I could give you an example for I like to play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? That's always been a passion, and we
You
also have a
play
friend.
Yu-Gi-Oh still?
We have
Christian would disagree.
we have a friend, and
He's been on the
essentially,
podcast.
yeah,
We
he's been on
talked
the
about his,
Chris Mack.
you
We've talked about his addiction to physical objects, anything he can
consumption.
collect. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, capitalists love him, but
Some capitalist of him.
yeah,
He sells it. Don't worry, man.
yeah, man, he's breaking even.
He's breaking even.
He's definitely not. He's definitely like
No.
yeah. Anyway, Christian.
They're,
The
they're, they're
best the
assets.
best part
They're
about Christian,
assets, not
Yeah,
liabilities.
Christian's like he has assets that are they're never liquid because he never actually sells them.
No,
He
but the thing is it's not even like Bitcoin's an asset that is basically liquid, but even it's not that people don't want to sell Bitcoin, it's that Christian literally can't sell some of this.
He's like it's worth $300, but no one's buying it. It's like an economics. There's no demand function. You know, basic supply and demand. There's a demand and there's a supply. He has a supply, but there's zero demand. So his
Yeah, sure.
function is just going up into space. He has
Three
no
people
one
have
to
bought
sell.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got some real demand there. They bought it for $300.
yeah. It's like anyway, we got sidetracked.
Tangent over.
Yeah. So basically, physical cards versus online. There's basically no difference because you can have any card you want. Make any deck, play against any person. What's the point of having real cards, right? And like the thing is for me, it's there's something different because it's something else. There's something else attached to them that can't be um, replicated by playing it online. Like I have memories of playing this, at lunchtime in elementary school. Maybe not the same cards, but I'm obviously not buying the expensive cards. I'm buying cards that I think are cool, and just playing around here and there. But it's the X factor. Something that we can't define, something that we can't quantify, right? That I feel like keeps us going to these sort of things. And I think it's a good example, like just a small example of how comparing an experience in a virtual world to the physical world, you know? And I do agree with you on the whole connections thing because that's like the best thing about the internet is just how many different people you're exposed to and how many different ideas and information, how much different information you can, absorb, good and bad, of course. But, you know, I think that's something that the metaverse, I don't even know if that's what it's really offering though, because like VR chat, just think of any online community, right? There's so many niche things that already have their own thing. Do we really need a metaverse for like them to interact?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of already is, It already is a form of a metaverse.
I just think that it's already in a weird way. I know there's be the whole other thing. You can buy property, you can buy things for your metaverse avatar and stuff like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
get
dude.
that aspect of it, but I just think the actual like concept itself in a weird way has already been done in a more cost effective
Yeah.
manner.
I
Like,
mean, I wonder how much it's gonna cost to host these. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's very complex. There's a lot of complex things about this, but I mean, okay, maybe we can move on to another thing that's another tech related, another tech related.
like I say, we're never gonna get to NFTs, are we? It's just not gonna happen this episode.
No, that's the next thing. NFTs,
I figured
non.
that's why you're transitioning.
Yeah, there you go. Non fungible tokens. I mean, NFTs just seem like to me, honestly, just a route to money laundering online.
Well, I think that okay. I think the idea of digital ownership is an interesting concept.
Yeah,
I think that in the age of digital media, being able to own your own license, like when you buy a product, you're buying a license like to own it, the physical product, like you know what I mean, like you're buying that.
yep,
I think that the idea of actually owning your version of digital media is a cool idea because it's yours to
of
do with what you
course.
want.
Yeah,
I think it would work well in the sense that like I have a version of this game, which is just my version of this game that I can do whatever I want with. I think it's become a little ridiculous with there's this one bored ape art that this time he's got a slightly different eye color, but since the market's been so overinflated and there's so many scammers running around that it's for some reason
yeah.
valued at tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean, the whole thing with the NFTs is, I mean, one thing I do like about it is, it gives artists, visual artists, musicians a lot more freedom when it comes to actually monetizing their craft. Especially digital artists, like um, graphic designers, whatever. And I mean, the thing is, you can the ability to you could just create inherent value in something by I saw some guy, he created his own NFT, sold it to himself, then bought it again, listed it for higher, then kept on inflating the price that way. He just did that indefinitely. It's like there's obviously loopholes in this free
No,
world of
it's
creating NFTs. I mean, people are going to optimize for their own gain, like in any situation, right, where money is involved. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, personally, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna get involved at this point. You know, it's kind of the Wild West right now. We'll see how it is in the future. You know, but yeah, I mean, I'm not too. A disclaimer, you know, we said at the beginning that we're not obviously experts on any of this stuff. But you know, just from at this point, since I'm not an expert, I'm not gonna hop in right now. You know, I'm gonna take a back seat. I mean, Gary V. Okay, first of all, Gary
Hey,
V
have you seen
is
his clips?
dude.
Gary Vee
This
is
guy
fucking
is
hilarious.
dude. I don't. Okay, the best at first, Gary V used to be like everyone's like, yeah, this is the guy. He's the entrepreneur. But then there are 50 other versions of Gary Vee that popped up after him, right? Other investment gurus, other, you know, entrepreneur gurus or whatever. And now I look at all the comment section of his videos. They're like, bro, this guy has not worked a day in his life. Where is all this working? He's like, apparently this guy works 24 hours a day, but also gets 10 hours of sleep at night. Like, people are just ripping him apart in the comments. And I find it really entertaining because he
I
always
know.
posts these, like, short videos with super generalized statements like just go sleep is important. I get about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours of sleep a day. You know, people say I'm on crack. I never smoked a drug. You know, and it's, I mean, his videos are very entertaining, but his,
Oh,
I mean, okay, I mean, he's so, I mean,
he's the shot in
he's
the face
okay,
clip.
that's all I'll say. He's entertaining to me.
He's the shot in
He's,
the face clip, right?
have I? No, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, I need to show you this after we're done recording. It is, it's
Gary V. Where he is it a story of how we got shot in the face?
no. Oh, I need to show you this after
Okay, okay,
we're
we gotta
watching.
watch it. We'll watch it. I'll put a. Okay, I won't put the clip up. I'm not trying to get demonetized, even though we don't even have.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
trying to get
no.
no copyright strike, but
Yeah, okay, there's that, but it's utterly hilarious.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Gary Vee at one of his cons, and he's talking to someone, and it's utterly hilarious.
yeah. A lot of them are like he actually gives decent advice sometimes, but he's very. I mean, he's the embodiment of an entrepreneur in that sense, where he's just go for it, anything, kind of vibe. And I mean, he's okay. I mean, it's not like he's spewing some nonsense all the time. So he's better than those guys that say, you know, I make $50 million this year. Buy my course and you'll become a millionaire like me. Like, at least he's not one of those guys, you know.
Flipping blue cups on Amazon as passive income.
Passive income. I love
There
how
is no passive income.
I just love how they always post like contradictory videos. Like,
Yeah,
it, the best. I work 18 hours a day, and then he's like, I get 15 hours of sleep at night. You know, it's just like doesn't make bro, it doesn't add up. I don't think there's 33 hours in a day, but I mean, yeah, he's our. What do you think about all these guys? Like, there's a ton of them out there. There's that
I I I
real
I
estate
think
guy.
I feel bad for the people who have bought into it, but for me, I think it's utterly hilarious. I
Oh
just
yeah.
think that the whole I'm gonna use the Sigma male grind set, like that whole
Oh,
style
that's
of
hilarious,
okay, never
dude.
mind, never mind. Different style of video, but that whole idea of I get up at 4 a.m. every morning, do my exercises, then proceed to walk outside, optimally get to the train by optimizing my steps, while listening to hype up
Max
music.
min
I
my
get to
whole
work
day.
at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then from there I work for 17 hours and then sleep for 2, and then I do it all over again.
And
Like
then
it was
there's the
unreal.
opposite. Then
Like
there's a
no one
yeah.
does that.
I woke up at 9, got in my Lamborghini, went grocery shopping, bought some caviar.
Yeah,
When looked at worked on the markets for 2 hours. Just it's just the best is the guy. He's like, oh, my day in the life of a trader or whatever, 19-year-old
yeah.
trader. It's just like a picture of stock prices. Like that's all it is. Like, oh, on the grind for 2 hours, daily return $8,000. You know, it's like, and they're just it's making it look so it's so glamorized. And there's the other people who are like, I'm gonna grind 24 hours a day, sleeps for the week. I wake up 4 a.m., go to sleep at 3:59 a.m. You know, like
It's like no,
it's
you
so
don't.
cringe. It's
No,
so
you don't.
like every time I see those videos, and the problem is people get sucked into this.
I
This is
know.
I mean this is why, you know, business education, like, it's so these I mean people who are educated at some level in commerce like will understand that yeah, the everyone's saying the same thing. Multiple streams of income. Um, I mean, that's like any finance person's gonna be like, yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Um, what's another one they say? I mean, everyone's like invest in real estate, like passive income or whatever. And I mean, passive income is kind of like, I mean, it's a little, I don't know. I mean, passive income is always good. Like, I mean, and I think the best form of passive income, that is feasible at any level is probably just buying ETFs, bro, or buy dividend stocks that are predicted to to be steady throughout time and give you a decent dividend, and you can continually invest in them and stuff like that. Like ETFs are good that way. And yeah, I mean that's a legit form of passive income. Another one is rent, but like I mean, you have to buy a house, you have to buy some sort of property to rent it out. And there's a lot of process. I mean, passive income is a real thing, but it's also like I think the idea about it is overinflated, just like everything all these guys do.
What's the life, right? Like that's the goal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the goal really is the best business or trajectory as an entrepreneur is make some money, be somewhat successful, then sell your course and make $50 million a year off selling your course to people who are uneducated about something. That's really where these guys make their money. Like, I mean, basically they're all real estate guys that make solid money during that, and then they like, oh, here's what you should be buying in real estate. It's because to become a real estate agent, you don't need to go to school, right? Or you don't need to get a university degree. You can just become a real estate agent by, becoming certified. And it's this is why, business education is so important, just like anything. Just a little bit of information can save you so much money, because a lot of people learn eventually after they've taken a bunch of these courses, like, oh yeah, they're all saying the same stuff. I mean, I feel like some level of that should be taught in school. I mean, everyone talks about like, oh, they don't teach kids about taxes in school and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, some level of it should be mandatory, I think. Just like you have to have one math, you have to have one science, you know, just to increase your breadth of knowledge in general, right? I mean, having basic business sense is very, very important. Um, like
Well,
investing, everyone should have some sort of basic investment, right? Everyone needs to make money, and investments are a smart way to save or make money on the money you're saving. You put aside. So like, I think it's just as important as any of these other topics. Yeah, but I feel like it's
well,
neglected for sure.
I think the big part for sure, going back to the gurus and stuff like that, and the bigger issue with it is it isn't the fact it's one thing for these people as much as like the day in the life of the people as much as they're like work nonstop, like as much as it's like yeah you don't actually do that, but the message is there, like the message of work hard and get rewarded is at least a valuable
Yeah, for
message
sure.
that if you're in like if you obviously think it's true, at least and there's a party it's like I'm gonna get up super early in the morning and grind nonstop. Like
Yeah.
there's some value in that message at least. The thing is with these passive income messages, it's just like, yes, you can do nothing and make a lot of
I
money.
work
Which,
3 seconds a
yeah,
day and I make $15,000 every 10 seconds.
that's my point. Is it's like
That's just
there's
total
a
BS.
disconnect there that
Yeah.
fundamentally, if you just see that, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like the people who get to that level where they make $15,000 an hour, those people, they didn't just get there. They
They,
had to work
yeah,
their asses off 100-hour weeks, 150-hour weeks for like how many years to get to the point where they've established automated processes that'll, save them time and money and make the money while they're not even, having to be there. But it's not like you can just start something and it'll have passive income and you'll be able to, like the 4 hour work week doesn't just happen, just because you find some passive income stream. You gotta work hard first. I mean, that's the thing, because I think it comes down to what a lot of this comes down to what do you think is successful? Do you really want to make a lot of money? I mean, they've done so many studies on the impact of money on people's lives, and past, I think they said in the states it was like past 72K a year, the marginal like increase in happiness and quality, or personal happiness per every dollar gained is goes down to nearly zero after that point. That's the peak. Um, and most people think that they're not, like, oh yeah, that's some people, but like, I need that money. The money is important to me. But you're, unfortunately, I mean, it's a statistic for a reason, right? I mean, they sampled a lot of people, and money is obviously it's important in our society. It's based around money, and money makes the life easier. Um,
That's the thing though, is I that statistic and survey, I think it's true that the actual gathering of more money isn't what makes money doesn't what make you happy. What makes you happy is what you can do with the money
yeah, and the
and the
thing
security it
is,
gives you. Yeah.
yeah, and basically what that measurement they used, 72,000,
Yeah.
was their metric for your basic needs are met, to like, they're always covered, and you are able to, have freedom, take trips, buy the occasional expensive thing, and you have these sorts of freedoms. So that's taken into account in their
Oh, okay
survey.
then.
Yeah. So
Okay. Uh-huh.
which is really interesting. You'd think it'd be a higher number, really. I mean, it's probably higher
Yeah.
here for Canada. It's probably closer to 100,000.
Well, yeah, just do the exchange rate itself. Like what's
Yeah. But it's hard to compare. I mean, U.S. and Canadian markets are similar,
what's it?
and
7,800?
yeah, 72,000. I said, yeah, U.S.
Yeah, it's 91,000 Canadian dollars at the moment, at least. It's,
Yeah, and
oh
I think
shit.
yeah, I think we can replicate, or we can make a very light or loose inference about the Canadian society, because it's not, obviously it's definitely different than the U.S., but in the in the same sense of, the happiness not increasing after that certain point, I think it's valid in, you know a lot of things. And I
Sorry.
mean, it depends on what you value as well, but I feel like that's also like there's been, it's very difficult to say, because I mean, look at all these people that become millionaires from winning the lottery, who are, making less than $50,000 a year or whatever, or living at the poverty line. I mean, how many of them are happier? How many of them are happier at that level? And they've done, they also done studies that show millionaires are some of the most miserable people in the world. And the thing is, there's a lot of other things to life. The saying, more money, more problems. It's true, because you look at these people. What do we really value in life? I mean, money is one of those things, but what people realize as they get older, I'm sure, are relationships, life experience, small things like that may seem small when you're younger, are way more valuable to people. People don't realize that. You get to a high level, it's hard to relate to your friends that were making $50,000 a year. Like, you usually hang out with the people that are, in your income bracket. If you suddenly go to winning $30 million, money changes people, and not just you, but the people around you, right? And it's kind of hard to relate to someone who has $30 million when the guy used to have 50,000, and now they're a baller, got a big house and 15 cars. It can put a strain on relationships, especially. I mean, look at all the the divorces amongst millionaires. I mean, divorce rate is so high in North America anyway. But I mean, it's a lot of things that come with these sorts of situations, and we can't discount it as, okay, you're rich, you don't have any problems. you just have different problems. You know what I mean?
You know
Yeah.
what you mean on that front.
Yeah. What do you how do you feel about the issue, you know, about the whole money success thing? What does it mean?
Honestly, just I try not to ever don't think about that. Just think of improving yourself, just moving forward, just press on. Doesn't matter. Just keep moving forward. Never just don't stop. Just keep moving forward. That's all that
Sigma
matters to
grind
me.
every day, 50-hour
No, no,
day work
not as
days.
that. I mean more as in the
Yeah.
mind. I know what you mean, but like more in the mind of like it doesn't matter what everyone else around you is doing because the only thing you can change is yourself. So if you if you are if this is really something that's something that matters to you, then you should just pursue it and just do the best you can. Like, but you
Yep.
can never just the money and deriving money from happiness and like what happens. Life's what you make of it. So
Yeah.
no matter what the statistics say, no matter what happens, all you can do is just keep pressing on. That's it. Just keep pressing on. Don't stop. Don't give up. That's it.
Yeah. And you know that I mean, this is what I value in life. You know, I mean, we're young, right? We're still learning about, we're still finding out who we are and where we're going in life and all these sorts of, you know, crazy things. You know, we're a different chapter of our lives now. And, but what I really value is this right here, you know, because
Yeah.
right now I'm that 70,000 threshold is satisfied because, you know, I'm with my parents. They're providing all these basic necessities. You know, I don't have to worry about food being, you know, not being on the table for dinner. You know,
Well,
I don't
we're
have to
just
worry
lucky
about the
in that
lights.
front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing. People like to talk about the one percenters, especially here in North America. You got to realize you're in the 1% of the world if you make over fifty
Yeah,
thousand
for sure.
dollars.
People are like
And
living. There are quite a few people living on less than $1 a day.
yeah, I think didn't they say like it was a considerable percentage of the world lives on less than $1 a day, like
Yeah.
in the tens of percents, maybe less. It was less than 30, but in that range, like it's a lot. And you know, it makes you really appreciate these kind of things where money it doesn't really matter. You know, me and you talking about just whatever's going on in the world, learning about people's culture, learning about people's life experiences, you know, experiencing the world, you know, what it has to offer. That's what it's really about. And, you know, money can help you do that, but it can't, I mean, money doesn't help relationships, that's for sure. Um, but,
I
you know,
don't
money,
know. I don't know.
it depends what kind of relationship you're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, true, proper relationships where you actually find meaning of being, um, being around someone, I don't think really money plays a big role of that. You know, and if it does, I don't know what kind of I don't know if that's the best relationship to be in. You know.
You say that now.
Yeah.
Especially in a few years. Let's come back to that issue. Let's go back to that
Yeah,
topic.
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna change, bro. I mean, if someone's there because you have because of money, I mean, this is getting into like just yeah, whatever. But yeah, yeah. So I think that'll wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening to our. You know, we kind of went around the block, um, around the blockchain, and yeah, we ended up here. So thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, we have an episode up for the next Sunday. This is coming out a little bit late. Sorry for that, guys. You know, stuff came up, but yeah. Thanks for listening, guys, and check out our Instagram, the.way podcast, and check out our website. It should be in the description of this video, or if you're listening on Spotify, it should be in the episode description. Let me know what kind of episode you guys want to see in the future. I'm gonna be posting polls and stuff like that. Let me know if you want to see any sort of guests. See if I can get anyone cool on, cooler than Beck.
Cooler than me.
No,
Uh-huh.
no, no,
Again,
no.
I'm just
Beck's
doing.
super cool. Beck's super cool. He's my boy. We can talk about like real stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just get called here when he's got no one else to hang
Yeah,
out with.
when I can't find a guest, like we always got Beck, old reliable, you know.
Yeah. I co-host this right here. I'm on half the episodes.
Yeah, Beck's on half the episodes. He might as well be the host of the Way podcast. But yeah, appreciate you guys. See you soon.
See you soon.